I was a badass kid, okay? Hold up. Let me tell you how. So, I just filmed a video, like a get to know me type thing. And then I started thinking, I was like, there's so much more interesting stuff in my life that has happened except for what my favorite color is and stuff like that. So, here's some interesting shit. I was a badass kid, okay? I was 3 years old when I snuck out the house because my mama was asleep and my brother was across the pond at my dad's house because we lived in a trailer park, and my grandmother owned the trailer park, and my dad lived in like the main house across the pond, and to get to his house you had to cross the levee in between, like in the middle of the pond. And on the other side of all the trailers there was nothing but woods for like 3.5 miles of wood behind and around the trailer, and then on the other side of the pond is my dad's house, and then more woods. So I used to, from the ages of 3 to like 5 when we moved or whatever, every time I would get a chance, I would run out the house and go in the woods, or I would ride my little Dora four-wheeler into the pond. I almost drowned 7 times. Okay, we moved from there to the hood in the city where my dad lives right now. It's called Eastgate. So I used to live there, and then when I lived there, I hung out with when I lived there, I was like 8, 9, 10, something like that. I was like 8. Anyway, 9, something like that. Maybe 10. Anyway, I used to sneak out the house after my brother would. My brother would sneak out and go hang out with the friends that he used to hang out with, and go like do some stupid stuff. He used to hang out with this gang and all that, and then I would go to the park that's right beside my apartment and hang out with my friends who was a lot older than me. They were like 14, 15. I would hang out with them, me, my cousin, and them. We were all sit and chill until like 2 o'clock in the morning, and then I would sneak back in the house, and then 30 minutes later my brother would sneak back in the house. And none of my mom and my brother never caught me. So and then we moved from there to what we call the crazy house, because it was haunted as fuck. Like, I got scars on my back from like being clawed in the middle of the night, or anyway, that's a whole nother story on its own. Me and my cousin would sneak out in the woods and smoke cigarettes, and we would steal the rest of the beers that my brother didn't drink. My brother and his friends didn't drink on the weekends that was still in his room. We would steal them and go drink them in the middle of the woods. And then we lived there for a few years, and then my Uncle Danny had a stroke, so we all moved because he pretty much died in that house, and none of us could deal with not being there and not having him there, because he was like the glue that held everybody together. Without him, like, everybody would fight, stuff like that. And it's weird because he could only say, he had had a stroke before that, and he literally could only say money, Shannon, which is my aunt's name, one, and strippers. So, and his wife, my Aunt Kathy, got cancer, so everybody moved. My Aunt Becky and my Aunt Kathy moved in together in one city, and then the city right next to it, me and my mama moved. Hold on. Where did we live right after the crazy house? I think we moved to the same city, and then my Aunt Shannon and her kids moved to another city, and everybody else just split up. And we lived in another trailer park. I was like 11, 12 in this trailer park. And I was still a badass kid. I would sneak out every time I got the chance and go over to this older dude's house, and I would sneak up to his window, and me and him would talk and flirt, and I'm not gonna get into all that. And I remember one day we were all chilling outside in this little clubhouse in the woods behind the trailer park that we made. We were all chilling, and I left for like 5 minutes, and the dude I liked, he went to find me. He came to my trailer to find me, or he was going to, and he stepped on this huge ass piece of glass, and they had to rush him to the ER. And while he was doing that, me and my cousin got this huge ass chain and put it like in front of his trailer, and like his first initial, like we made it into his first initial. And when he got home, like that, like really it made him happy. Like we were trying to cheer him up and stuff, so it made him happy, blah blah blah. And then later that night, we sneak out to see him, and we start partying pretty much. We start drinking and smoking and partying and stuff like that. And then about a year later, we move to another trailer park. Yeah, to another trailer park with my aunt and uncle. And the trailer park before that is where I met my used to be best friend. We were best friends for 5 years, and I was in love with him. And I thought he was in love with me, but anyway, that's when I started getting like super depressed, blah blah blah. So I started being a baby kid, would go out with my cousins, and we'd steal in the car, and we'd go party in the middle of the hood and stuff like that. And then after that trailer, we moved into another apartment down from where we used to live. Like over here was the apartments that we used to live, and then you would come out of those apartments down the road, you would turn, and you would go down that road and then come back down, and then you would go through like the second road, and that would be like down where my apartment was. And I started hanging out with the people I used to hang out with in the first apartment that we lived in. And I started partying and stuff like that with them. I started sneaking out and stuff like that. And started hanging out with this really, I was like 13, 14. Hanging out with really older guys. And I started dating this 25-year-old. And we dated for like a year. And then my mama got sick, so I had to move in with my dad. No, I moved in with my aunt, and then I moved in with my dad. But during October, when I still lived with my aunt, I literally didn't come home all that October because I was partying. And then from that, I moved to my dad's. And then my dad went to jail. So I moved where I live now with my aunt. And I mean, I'm calmed down. Like, I don't sneak out and I don't do anything like that anymore. But I do go like chill with friends on the weekends and stuff at my dad's. Like, I still hang out on the weekends and stuff with people that I used to hang out with at my dad's. I'm not a baby kid no more. I'm 17 years old. About to be 18 in May. So, like, I'm mature. I'm getting my life together. I'm finna get a house of my own. Get custody of my 2 younger cousins. 3 younger cousins if the boy wants to move in with me. But I think he'd be more happier with his grandparents because there's a lot more, like, he's just safe that there. And I know the 2 girls want to move in with me for like 110%. So yeah. And that's pretty much like my life story, running around as like gangster wannabe type kid. Yeah. And I'll go into detail on like certain nights and certain places that I went on my channel. I'll do that. I'll go into detail on certain nights and certain things that I did more on this channel, and like who I dated and the older guys that I've been with, and like all the stuff that went down when I was hanging out with them and stuff like that, and like certain story times. If you want to hear something like certain, like crazy hood story or a trailer park story or older dude story, whatever, let me know in the comments. And yeah, if you like this video, like me up. If you want to see more, subscribe, because I will start posting like every single week. I don't know why I'm talking on my hands. Anyway, goodbye. Bye.